You need a modulator.
Yeah, have your attention. It's 10 minutes after 7. We're going to begin the regular meeting of the Brimfield. Laura, may I have a roll call, please?
You don't remember me?
I do, but I got written down. Okay. Ron Jones.
Yay.
Tom Johnson.
Here.
Debbie Darlis. Here. Tom Sargent.
Here.
Patrick Blair. Seth Halen.
Here.
Blatt Wilosnik. Here.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look this portion of the agenda over?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second, please.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, this part of the, well, first of all, we're not going to take action on the
Application?
application on the zoning change from OR to L. So we're going to table that right now until a future date.
And I think that's important, and I think you could probably request, and maybe even making a motion to get information both on the taxes and then the mapping for water, so we can make a better decision
Traffic.
on what to do there.
Yeah, we would look at taxes, sewer, water, and also
Traffic.
any traffic. So we would need those three bits of information.
Yep. I think it was a very productive meeting. I'm glad everybody came because, you know, when you start looking at it other different ways, you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not into it.
Well, I knew that, you know, I knew that some of, especially representing the Biltzes would be against it. I mean, they didn't want that at all.
Yeah, they just want agriculture.
I'm a little
I
bit
understand.
surprised that the gentleman that's adjacent to the other two properties, or he's across the street, actually.
Yes.
He lives in that brick house that
With his
sits
mother.
back in a little bit, has a creek running up beside it. So you know, I'm assuming that his idea is he doesn't want it because of traffic. That could be the only thing that I can think of.
And I know that the applicant has requested it to go to light industrial. That doesn't mean obviously we have to do that. Number one. Number two is he's saying that it's going to devalue his property that he purchased.
If it goes so.
And I don't think that that's right because the actual use is residential right now. So I'm not so sure that, I mean, I think he got it as a steal. That property and then, you know, of course it would increase the value if you want light industrial, but I don't think he's going to lose money on the deal by staying residential.
As far as, you know, the whole area on the west side, all through there, both Talmadges and Brimfield is all light industrial. Why would we want to spot zone that little area to something else?
Right.
You know, it's already non-conforming.
Yes.
Well, so we have the option
Yes, you
to
do.
just
Either
not
way.
touch anything on the east side. One option would be just to go ahead and make that L1, which goes with all the property
Around it.
And so if you do that, what potentially happens? How does that potentially impact traffic? Because the traffic stuff was about the east side.
You're only talking maybe 5 acres, so I don't know if,
Is it?
8.7, it says here.
okay, so even.
And
if-
But there's
That's
no water.
yeah, that's
and that's-
including the other two that aren't in the actual application.
So
The
you're
actual
talking,
application is about
you're
five.
talking a couple,
Yeah.
one or two buildings there,
Correct.
possibly a warehouse or something.
By the time you put retention and parking lots.
Yeah, I don't think the traffic there would be, if it went to R3 and they wanted to somebody wanted to come in and build a development in there, you're gonna do a lot more traffic.
Well, and then
Oh,
once,
yeah,
once
yeah.
again, if you zone it that way, any business is gonna have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals with traffic counts to
Right.
see if they're inundating the area and get a traffic study in that area. The problem that lies is, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not opposed to going RR across the street, but if you guys suggest that, which makes sense on the east side because you would be extending it, it's kind of contradictory to the comprehensive land use plan, but that doesn't mean that this board can't update the comprehensive land use plan as well.
Right.
Um,
Well, the RR I wouldn't be opposed to the RR as long as we change the zoning to eliminate.
I would highly recommend you guys consider that with all this that came forward. I think it comes to light that if you've got an agricultural piece of property and you're in an RR, somebody still could put a development there.
Well, you're looking at
You
that.
know,
But then we'd have to change the PDR.
Just in that section, just for the RR.
Yeah,
To throw something else, why then, if you were looking to protect the agricultural portion, and this is general throughout the township, you put it OC. What's the drawback of something to that effect? If you're looking at to protect agricultural
I
areas?
think the OC is mainly where they have designated it. It's probably a better question for Todd. But I think the way that they do the mapping along that, you'll see the OC mainly along like Mogador,
Right,
wetlands.
okay.
You know, they're completely non-buildable
Mhm.
open space conservation areas.
Hey, to me, when I was listening to what was going on, there's a couple different things happening. One is there's all the traffic heading down Howe Road, which we can't solve that problem.
No, we can't.
That's a law thing. And some of that is probably affected by the Mogador Road improvements and things like that. And once 18 gets open, maybe some of it gets resolved. But at the same time, the industrial park is expanding. So some of that sounds like it needs to be communication with Talmadge, that they've got to help out with not, some signage
Sure.
that these trucks can't be heading up this road. And I would, I'm upset. We're on Old Forge and we're getting tons of semi-traffic.
Well, and the whole
That's across
point,
Mogador Road. being-
what we discussed and what you guys were accomplishing with the comp plan, doesn't mean everything in the comp plan is 100% accurate the way we want to do it.
Right.
As we start looking at water and sewer, if it's not readily available, we don't want another wish list. We want something that's actually feasible. So if we're not going to be able, if this is a force main coming down Howe, because we did hear that Howe is a force main yesterday at our meeting.
Yes.
And Water Resources were very clear that they didn't want us to tie into that. It's a force main, and if you tie into it, it can back up properties. So they were pumping everything from Edson Road, I believe.
I
and
don't remember what she said.
She just, it was a long way.
It's
It was a lot of sewage. And their concern is that they're not going to offer backflow preventers, and things are going to get backed up if we start tying into that. So without putting in more pump stations and more controls on it, which is very costly, isn't developable. We don't want to do another area like 43, which we have to do water and sewer on anyway.
Mhm.
I don't want to create another area that we got to, as a wish list.
One thing I kind of disputed about the Howe Road on the east side on the heavy truck traffic going up. They would have to come from 43, cross railroad tracks, and I don't believe there could be that much truck.
Yeah, I've traveled it. I don't see it there. I do think, because they were doing all that sewer work, and stuff down Howe Road, there was a lot more traffic going that way,
Yeah.
on the
You're right.
west of Mogador Road than there was east. Yeah,
Well, yeah, on the west side, they've had the Crystal Parkway is right there
Yeah.
with the Brass, or whatever the name of the place is.
Yep.
And the other, and even the warehouses up in there. They've had the problems of between Mogador Road and Talmadge.
yeah,
They've had a lot of problems in Talmadge.
yeah.
There for a while, I don't know if they still do, they were citing them. They've got it posted.
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay.
They don't.
As you come out of Crystal Parkway.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was they were going different ways, and then some of those guys aren't driving there every day, but it'd be interesting to find out on the semi GPSs if they're taking them that way.
Well,
I
we
don't
asked
think-
past chief, to patrol it and he said, we don't have time to do it. And I'm not gonna have, scales there to try to weigh these guys.
As much as I'm hearing development and I'm working on development, we are getting development in. And, as it sits right now, without increasing this, I'm looking at a 10 to 15 year build out, and that's if the economy stays strong.
Yeah.
So, after that, it's just strictly zoning. As long as everything's in place and the zoning's there, then it can be maintained at that point. But adding more to it, I'm not opposed to it. I know everybody's I'm sure the trustees would be listening to this meeting. They absolutely put the manufacturing in, but we got to do it where it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense in this area, I'm not opposed to that staying farms. I mean, I kind of like driving down that street and seeing the farms over there. And I like that. That's a good part of Brimfield. They do have a point.
We could do RR there, and, we could always visit it at another time,
Yeah.
But we could do RR there
And R3 I know.
yeah.
So if we just left it alone on the east side,
Okay.
And went to RR.
but what is it right now? It's all
OR.
oh, it's all.
So we're going to change OR regardless. That's fine.
Okay. So then we just need to protect it so we don't see a development coming in.
So all you would have to do, if you did make the motion, I'd that code section out of RR for planned residential,
Right.
which I don't want to see it in RR anyway.
Yeah.
We have it in, every other district.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it is so obvious Mogador cannot take any more traffic.
I mean, could you imagine us going to quarter acre lots on that farm? You know how many homes we'd have in there? I mean, we're talking
Well,
about inundating.
Even if you had 150 homes over there,
170 houses.
Mogador Road's finally gotten to the place where it's not stacked up. You're not waiting through 3 or 4 lights coming.
You're right. We finally
It's-
solved it. You're right.
It's a whole lot better than I ever thought it was going to be. And it's like, man, let's not screw it up now.
You're right. That's actually a very valid point
I
not to do. And that's
I
a
guess-
good point that changed since we did the comp plan. They fixed the ramps. That project was going.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah, I guess what makes the most sense to me, at least unless I'm missing something, is I can't find really any reason not to let him go L1 with just his thing, leave the other side, or rezone it RR with the limitations in it.
What do you do about the one parcel that they didn't, so the original application didn't include
The house.
the one gentleman's house there? And I know he's very adamant on his not changing. I mean, obviously we've got to do what's best for the township, but
I thought those.
If you approve the 2 parcels there that he wanted, then that leaves you a little, one place there that's gonna be so,
and he's surrounded.
Is
yeah.
he living there still?
I would do the
Oh,
whole
man,
thing.
that's-
But as long as he's living here, it's not going to change. And I understand he does it, but he's got manufacturing on the other sides of him. This is only one more side. He's got 2 sides now.
So I would think it would help his property value.
Because somebody would buy it out, you would think you would want.
Yeah, not if he wants to refinance, because then.
It's kind of like this area down by Maple Crest across the street. There's some houses that just.
They're in no man's
Yeah,
land.
they're in nowhere, and they're waiting for the big dollar that's never going to come. And
But that'll be a fight with some of those people there.
yeah,
The last house in the township would be a terrible fight with them.
I know.
They're-
Is there another zoning district that would allow him maybe just, like what else, what other options we have?
Well, we're going to get rid of the RO and the residential office. We're looking at getting rid of that. We're looking at getting rid of the office research. I don't even, at the time, I think it was a big deal. If there was a big deal, it just didn't come to fruition here. So in the future, I don't see it happening.
What businesses would be in that?
They list them here, I think.
Home-based businesses?
No, office research is strictly commercial. That's why they are commercial now, and that's why he was telling me his taxes were gonna go up. I'm like, you're commercial now. And if it didn't go up and it's a resident, it's not gonna go up. It's because your use is still residential. And as long as the gentleman stays in the house, it's still a non-conforming use house.
Right.
But you would only have one non-conforming if you were doing the changes you said tonight. If you went to LI on the one side of the street, you did RR and you did R3 on Howe, now you just brought all the houses on Howe into conformance. They will be no longer non-conforming uses. You would take the farms and that would be conforming uses. They wouldn't be no longer non-conforming. So actually doing a good thing. They're calling a duck like we planned. The only problem you have is that section that this guy is requesting and the property that's going to be upset with it. But you
Yeah,
gotta do it.
I would be for going ahead with that as, as LI for those,
Outside looking up.
Well,
3 floors.
Office Street.
I want to,
He's gonna be mad at us no matter what.
I want to jump in.
Yeah, I don't, it's, unless we just forget about everything.
Can I ask you one question before you get into this? So if that one property sits there and it's still residential,
He stays that way.
then he ends up being in the same position like that we were. He wouldn't be able to go get a conventional loan because it would be non-conforming, right?
He's still
non-conforming now.
non-conforming now.
Oh, he's non-conforming now.
Yeah. So office research is medical dental offices, accounting, architectural, engineering, surveying, administrative offices for businesses, industries, government agencies.
They're typical nice buildings.
Daycare centers. This is office research.
That's the guy's house that was,
But, it doesn't make sense to go to light industrial on that side either, because none of these, somebody could have came in here and said, we could build a commercial building, but they didn't. I
Right.
mean,
Well, I guess
That's why I'm confused. I'm a little bit confused. The east side, the big large property of, 99 acres and so forth. I'm in consensus with everyone. But across the street, I'm still a little perplexed. It's not making sense to me.
Sure.
In the sense that we have a zoning that's already in place. It is quite broad, allows you to do a lot with that piece of property. And now we want to go to light industrial. What's the advantage? I'm looking at zoning wise, the advantage of going from RO to LI. What does that allow you to do that you can't do already?
They couldn't do manufacturing.
You can't do manufacturing,
Yeah,
right? And
now,
I don't.
I mean, if we would go to manufacturing, we have, it's 8.7, but then it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of divided because you have one property in there owned by a landowner. And so you really don't have access to a complete.
Yeah, you'll have 5 acres.
Right, you end up with 5 acres. So what, with setbacks, parking lot, lot improvements and so forth.
You might get one business in there.
Right, and at that point, I'm kind of confused of, it just doesn't fit.
yeah,
Well,
For that,
now-
a lot of energy for a very small
Well,
piece.
you could opposed to either way, however the board wants to go with it. Trust me, I'm okay with it, because looking at this, and it's opened our eyes through this whole application process. Nothing has come in here with any of these medical dental, none of these came in. They don't need a ton of water for a lot of this stuff, maybe dental office, but other than that, they didn't need a ton of water. They could ran off a septic and well. It just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the homes are kind of, they're happy there. The people are there, the farms are there. But the only thing is on that west side, you're surrounded by industrial.
But that would be in the Talmadge area.
Yeah.
Right, so if you look at, I look at it 2 different ways. I look at the totality of everything, and that would be including reviewing what's in the backyard across the street. That would be in the Talmadge, what's happening on the other side. But then when I get down to the micro aspect of it, I bring it back into what is going on up and down the street and across the street and narrow it a little bit
Yeah.
to what's happening in Brimfield. We can't control what goes on in Talmadge.
Yeah.
Also, there's no access into Talmadge off of that area, other than when you go down the street, when you make a right, and then it comes up behind it.
When
So-
they did that annex, there was homes there,
Right.
so they didn't take the homes, you know.
Right.
So just out of curiosity, if his property was rezoned L1 and somebody behind there, one of the industrials, could they gobble those properties up?
They could expand it.
Right,
And then could they make access drive off to their business off of Magador
in
Road?
Magador Road, yeah.
Potentially, yes.
Mhm.
So that goes back to what we were talking about, like what's his plan? What is it? Does he have an idea what he's
Well,
doing?
no, that's where we're not getting at, and that's where I
Yeah, I think
disagree.
he has a plan.
Yeah, because this is very small, like I said,
It's
this
a small
doesn't mean,
piece.
you know, if we're looking at, they're saying more money for us. Oh, how much more money?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about one parcel of one building and then the potential, like you said, that somebody could just expand their parking lot off into Talmadge and they don't care. And then all of a sudden they have another access point, which is probably what's happening now that you think about it.
Right,
It's
well,
probably-
that's the totality
So,
of this part.
I mean, that's pretty smart. I agree with you. And I think with that in mind, consider going to an R3 over there.
Well, the other thing I think that I sit here and think, you know what? He bought these properties,
Yeah.
and if, why did you not check this out before you bought them?
Well, he checked them out.
Yeah, but
He
got a
checked them
deal, like
out.
you said.
He's doing his due diligence. He's,
Yeah, but
he's looking at,
has that deal already gone through? Does he
I
actually own them?
I wanted to look up, I tried to
Let
get
me
on my
sign
phone to the auditor's page to see if they transferred.
well, let me see if he signed as owner. Because if that, then you'll know, right? Oh, I don't have this one.
One day,
Oh, that's
she's
my
making rating on that house, huh? It's a good house. It just
I mean, I
makes-
I'll have to look at the original application because we didn't.
In some ways,
This is in regional. that they don't
the
have.
burden's on him, not on
But I'll
us.
look to see who
He
signed.
could always
it
go
as
to
owner.
BZA.
He
You know,
could.
that could be another contention because, let me look at the original.
So I think we're a little bit in the dark on the direction.
Yeah.
Because if it's a benign, if there was some plan that was kind of benign, it would be easy, it would be an easy question to answer. But it's not benign, and we got quite a bit of resistance. And I think listening.
Well, they were resisting, so just for clarity, I guess I'll ask this question. Are they resisting
Yeah, but these
his
are
rezoning or the stuff on the
Okay.
east?
The one,
side?
the gentleman,
Did he supply us with a letter?
Third. he was.
He was resisting the L1 rezoning, right?
Right.
Well, I asked the question twice. I asked the question of him, and if you recall, I said, now, are you opposed to everything that's in purple?
Yeah.
And he said, yes. And then Mr. Biltz, I asked him the same question, and he also answered
Well,
me
he said he
affirmative
is.
as well.
We recently purchased the property.
So maybe I should have taken it
Well, that's okay.
and asked, why on the west side, and I didn't ask that, which I probably should.
I wanted to ask it, but I didn't know if I should or not.
Sure.
Uh,
So let me see this. So his letter to the zoning board, signed Craig DiLorenzo, he says that he purchased the property with his letter, and he signed it as the owner.
Right, he also stated here that he is the owner, here I wrote it down. He referenced himself as the owner.
okay.
I mean, let's verify that. I would request the board put that in as well as the traffic counts and all that to just make sure that it transferred and that the county has it in his name, because this is a mute issue. If
If he doesn't own it.
it did transfer, because he can't apply as just he's not an owner of the land. I mean, so we would just certainly want the owners to sign off on this as well,
So.
We'll just make sure, do our due diligence. I'm sure he
So we
has,
have
I'm
this
sure
on the
it's
agenda here, so we want to make a motion to defer any action on this.
Yes.
That would be under
You figure out how
One-
to say it.
one zoning, amendment 1 and amendment Is it just one that we
No,
have,
it's
or is it two? Well, it's one amendment, but two sections of the.
And the only reason that you would be amending it is to get more further information.
Right. Well, then we'll make a motion to defer any action that's before the board on the zoning amendment application for said parcels. If you want me to read them, I can. From the OR to the LI application before the board for further consideration.
You just made a motion?
I just made a motion.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
I,
Okay,
And we'll add that to the agenda then.
right.
I'll be
So
here.
where do we want to
you're
go on?
here
the-
next month, because Ron won't be
I
here
probably
next
won't.
month.
Oh, okay.
Where do we want to go with the, it's not up there anymore, the R3 on Hall Road? The houses
Okay.
there.
I think it's I think everybody was in favor of it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, do we want to just go ahead and do that now, or you want to wait till next?
I would wait till you get everything.
Okay,
I think you'd get that. I think you could do that whole, you'll
That's the
narrow
one we feel
down.
good about.
Yeah, that's the only one. And the other, I mean,
so we're considering.
that east side of the
RR.
road, I think RR makes sense, but we'll see.
Well, if we have to do something, that seems the best option.
Probably without a big fight.
Right.
Well, and possible, and I think we could arrange the RR to, do away with the, PRDs.
But then, the board, like Tom's, you brought up a very valid point. We can be doing this all and it could be for a business in Talmadge.
Mm-hmm.
Brings up a very
He was,
valid point.
he was a little wrong about the, all the property behind Menards because it's getting eaten up. You've got, Ameryk's there and, there's another one gonna be started, I think.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take, they can only get maybe a couple more big buildings back in there.
Right, and Skipper Group is not, that's integrated commercial, so that's not industrial. But we do have some industrial. I have Carg, the whole Carg property was at 70 acres back there that I got
Down over the
three.
hill there,
Yeah,
behind it,
it backs up to 76.
behind Bagels, okay.
Yeah, in one way or another, Margaret Road is going to get extra traffic
Yeah.
when all these businesses open.
Hey, Sue. Boy, you missed the crowd tonight.
Yeah,
It was a big crowd.
they thought you were gonna be here.
Hey, I was over at
Hey,
the
look.
Randolph, I was over at the Township trustee meeting, and the Fields Playground Group is tomorrow, by certified whatever, will be dissolved. That nonprofit status will be dissolved, and that whole program and that property and all that stuff over there was given back over to Randolph Township, and my 5-year project is done.
All right.
That's the playground that's in Randolph?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, it was busy today. I drove by it several
Yeah.
times.
Go up there, there's
Oh, I
something
am.
there for you to do too, I rode the zip line.
Did you? You survived.
So we've been talking about, just get you up to speed. There was an application to go to LI off of Mogador. With that, this board sent it to regional planning. Regional planning has developed in accordance with comp plan to go all LI through Mogador. But as the public was speaking and as we progress through, we're finding out that sewer aren't readily available. There's the potential that this could go to LI on the opposite side of the street just to expand a business already in Talmadge where they could potentially make a bigger parking lot into our area. So that's where we're at now. It's just tossing everything around, and we certainly don't want to ignore Talmadge, but we certainly don't want to take homes away and make a bigger parking lot as well, so.
Right.
It's
Okay.
a tough one.
I don't
Is
think
there
we
any
approved the minutes,
other,
so did we?
any other business on the agenda?
Yeah, we had a historical district discussion.
Well, Todd was here but had to leave. So Todd is actually, I would put this off till the next meeting as well, because Todd is working on historical districts, not only for us, for Ravenna, I think he said, and Shalersville, there's a bunch of areas.
I understand, I guess, the concept of it. I don't quite understand how does he want to put it all, so it's all in town center, or?
I think that's up to you guys. I don't think that we should exclude any historical building or home just because it's not in the town center.
Right.
I mean, we talked about the town center only, but this is just discussion. If there's a historical home somewhere in the community,
Yeah, we got some out on.
I mean,
Holland
why,
Road.
just because they're not in the town center, why we would exclude it, it doesn't make much sense.
Okay.
And we are, so far, so good with 1435 Talmadge. We have a court hearing next week, so
Great.
just so the violations are all taken care of is what I understand, except for the painting
Which is
side.
that,
1435 Talmadge, where he had a landscape business in there.
down there?
Yes.
That was
So
right next to the foot.
we have the violations completed, but one of the stipulations that's going to court next week, and Sue and I have been heavily involved in this in the court case, we want the house either painted or sided.
Yes.
And even though it's not a zoning thing, it is something where there's been rodents running in and out and everything else. We do need some kind of protections of that, but
There are people.
and the court has heard us on that, so I think we're pretty good. We don't want to tear it down. In fact, I don't know if she listed the house. She lists the house tomorrow potentially.
I didn't have an opportunity to talk to her.
But the last time we talked to her, she talked about,
She talked about listing it tomorrow.
and if there's a potential buyer, huh?
Without doing the improvements?
Yeah, they were listing it with, but I told her that we would, and I'm not the court, so I can't say what the judge would say, but we would be out to a 90-day. If somebody purchased a house, we'd give them 90 days to get it painted or sided. We would.
Oh, okay, the new owners, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It would have to be one of the conditions.
I'd like to see it just, fixed up and.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say dozed.
I'd rather have it.
Well, we've got enough tear downs to, like I said, the census came back at 250 vacant or abandoned homes. It
Wow.
didn't say vacant, it said
In
abandoned.
Brimfield?
So you said,
Oh my God.
we're just trying to find them, and a lot of them are being maintained. Like, Lauren and I go out and we're like, that's a vacant house, but then somebody's
We have
cutting.
a vacant house in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Like
plenty.
that.
Yes, you
we
do.
got
I've
one in
seen
our
it.
neighborhood.
I think I said, we were just down there.
Both of them
It's like
died.
a ranch.
Houghton's, Houghton's? Joe
Is
and
is this house,
What's it?
Buckeye.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm the
okay.
blue house in the corner.
this house we're talking about, is it paintable? I mean, is it
Okay,
siding?
yeah, we
I mean,
Uh,
they're
well,
gonna have to do
the
some
homeowners
serious
association
repairs.
will end up
I don't
owning
think that would.
All the
siding
rooms
is
in
in any
the
condition.
Yeah.
So is it being priced at a
Getting grass.
point where-
It really wasn't that bad.
I mean, they could go back to the wood siding.
I guess they can always make an offer on it, right?
Yeah, I think he's ready to take whatever offers.
Do we need to make a motion on the request for taxes, sewer, water, traffic, and ownership?
Yes, I would do that to be safe on record.
Go ahead, look at me.
You're looking at your list, go ahead.
In regards to the application from the holding company, what's Craig, how do you say his last name?
Di Lorenzo.
So application before the board to further develop our understanding of the area. I make a motion that we request from zoning or from,
Auditor.
yeah, for Portage County Office of Planning,
Regional.
regional
Yeah.
planning, any information that they can provide us in regards to the situation of changing from OR to LI, the ramification of taxes, and then the overlay of any sewer and water in the general area of the application, and if we're able to acquire any traffic information from Akron Transit, Metropolitan Transit.
Would you like to see multiple maps? Like, you have version 1 right now where everything is going LI. would you like to see the one small portion, LI, and then RR and R3, one map, and then another map of maybe R3, RR, and R3?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe give you some various samples of what we
Yeah.
can do with the area.
definitely the RR and the RI and R3, I mean, and the L1, change L.
Yeah.
We'll put that in there.
What Mike just said.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
and you guys are like, we're not, you know this, you guys know this better than I, you guys been on the board a long time. We're not up just because there's an application, we don't have to do it.
Correct.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, we don't have to
Do we have to
do.
act on it though? I mean, one way or the other? Do you
Yes.
say yea or nay?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I'm liking to see, and it doesn't have to be, if you want to wait a year, I don't care, but eventually we have to get rid of the OR just because I'd like to take that whole district, combine the uses into maybe the GC district or.
But she's saying in regards to the L1 on the west side, we have to at least,
Well, you have to act
We have to
on
make
it.
it-
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to make a decision based on that.
that's only great.
All right, so I'll continue with maps, any overlay of RR, R1, and R3.
Right.
And then a auditor search on the current ownership of the properties that are in the application.
Right.
I second that motion.
Just one,
Nicely done.
Just don't make me repeat it.
I'm sorry, just because that was official, it was supposed to be, you said R1.
Yeah, was that
Should we do this?
It's
again?
R3, RR, and LI.
LI? Okay.
Yeah, not R1, just
correct.
because that's an official.
Correct that LI then.
Good job.
Okay.
We need a teleprompter. That's what.
There was a lot there.
There's-
Okay, did we get that one passed then?
Yes, we
Okay, good.
confusing, but there. Yeah,
Have the, so
We need
set the
approval.
next meeting.
Wait a minute, we need approval of the minutes from May 12th.
Right.
We didn't do that.
okay.
I haven't had a chance.
Motion to approve the minutes for May the 12th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Pray to read those. I'm just kidding.
All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Should we make
I
a
don't
motion?
know.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We gotta set
You
the
gotta
next
set the
date.
next meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, July the 14th, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yep, you won't be here, right?
Oh, and
I will be here.
You won't be here.
is two
I'll be in Arizona.
two
Oh,
months
how nice.
That's fine.
too soon for you to be able to notify all these people by mail on our changes? Because we're not gonna do it next month,
They're
probably.
not going to. We don't need to do, we already notified them. So
Okay.
all they need to know is we told them the second Thursday.
Right, the next meeting, and I don't send out, I was hoping they don't think that I would have to send an individual mailer to every single
No, we-
Brimfield Township resident if we
we-
were gonna do the
no, we're
public,
not. Yeah,
the
we're
regular
not.
meeting, we just
So
do
we're
it on the
not-
website and.
Well, I'm not gonna be here, so.
Yeah, you won't be here.
No, we gave them the dates already.
Right, and also, I was kind of confused in the discussion in regards, there's an obvious misunderstanding of what a land use plan is.
Yes, for sure.
A plan is just a basis of change.
Yes.
And
And they thought we changed it already.
right, they thought that we are out of the discussion.
But that had a lot to do with how Todd just jumped into it.
I think,
It's like he
think Todd
just
was a
said it,
little,
like,
I think
yeah.
Todd was rushed tonight. He had several meetings, so I think that kind of added to it. But there's several things that would come from this. So whatever changes you make here, I think we're going to not only institute those, if you do go to RR, start the process of removing that text for the residential development. And then I would also ask that Todd, in that same motion, or the same meeting, make a motion that the comp plan reflects the changes to what you do. So instead of leaving it all LI going all the way up, whatever your changes are, let's change that in there so that down the line, if somebody looks at it, they'll be like, what the heck are they doing? So, just to coincide with our changes. And then we should be working after that. The next meeting is do all the updates, because we have to annually update this book. for the comp plan, and we have to make our changes. We have to include the census numbers, population changes. I want to have that all added into the comp plan and keep it updated yearly.
Did we get any further on the, notebooks, the talents?
I'm sorry, the what?
The talent, we were gonna get
Yeah.
talent.
Oh, I think they're coming in, but I don't think they're all in,
Okay.
You'll have them by next meeting, I would.
hopefully.
So when
You know,
you-
it just depends on.
Whenever you
when
get
we
those
them,
in,
they're shipping.
Because she's gonna do a tutorial the next meeting. I'm just
Are
kidding.
they gonna be pre-programmed in
Are
for
you just getting the smaller ones?
certain things so that
They're about this
Yeah.
size.
Oh, that's.
I think, I'm not sure, that'd be a Brian
you
question.
can push this button and it'll be for motions or
Oh,
changes?
there you go.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Tom does. I
They're
used
pretty
to drive, deliver cars.
Yeah.
And we had our notebooks and everything was pre-programmed and, gas, mileage, everything. You just push.
I don't know.
what we need.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We can
There you go.
ask. I mean,
Now we do.
Now we go.
make it easy.
We may need it even more.
We should have one where it's like, how Dropbox
Yeah,
or something where you could
it's
just
just
access it like that.
You have your degree in programming, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we'll have Ryan do
I'll
a
make a
tutorial
motion
and then
to
we'll try
adjourn.
that.
We,
Well, I did, but I didn't know if it counted because I was.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay. All those in favor signify.
Aye.
Again, we're adjourned.
Actually, Colette second.